Happy Tuesday. I see Chris is first. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad you had your nap and you're all refreshed. I'm early today because I got time. A little bit. Only because it's 95 degrees with a heat index of 107 today in Columbus, Indiana. I don't know what it's like where you are, but I hope you have your water. I'm drinking my water. And I'm going to be watching the weather later. Go out in the apiary and see what's going on. I checked on More Alive the other night. Got a little bit of honey, but I found that they were queenless. So I had to go into another colony and get some eggs so that More Alive can make another queen. Hey, there's Gunline Bees, Tim and Hannah. Good to see you. I hope you're rested up from your trip. I know it wasn't a good reason to go on a trip, saying goodbye to your pastor. Excuse me, there's Rick. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you this afternoon. Wow, Tom, you guys got it hotter over there in Ohio. Yeah, definitely a pool day. Well, I am inside of the air conditioning day. Hey, DC. Good to see you. Awesome sauce. I hope it worked out great and it keeps working out great for you. Hey, there's Don't Hurt the Harvest. Good to see you this afternoon. I hope you're staying cool and drinking water. Find your electrolyte drinks. Yeah, it's definitely a hot one. I wanted to stream from the honey house, but I couldn't stand to be in there for more than a few minutes at a time. That is not far at all, Tom. We're going to have to get together and do lunch, dinner, something sometime. Talk bees, definitely. Email me or I'll email you. It's been busy. Busy. I hope you get a good harvest this year, DC. This weather, today's the last, well, it's supposed to last until Friday, I guess, this heat wave. And the rain is supposed to start tomorrow. I don't know how much or when we're going to get the rain. So I'll be watching the weather. I am also excited to announce I will be having apiary visitors next week. So next Tuesday, I will not be having a live stream. I'll be entertaining company in the apiary. But I'll definitely put the EarthCam link up on my community page so you guys can sit in with us when we tour the apiary next Tuesday. Yeah, it's just a pop-up chance. But it makes me nervous because I don't want to check on the bees in the rain. I don't want to take a chance and drowning my bees. DC's getting ready to draw a little comb. Yep, they're getting ready for winter. They are preparing. I had another, I forgot to put two frames in, possibly 3. They made a mess. I've got a 3-story nucleus colony, a deep and 2 mediums, okay? I took the first super off. That was honey. I took it. Yes, I did. The second one, pulled the frame out, and all the comb from the deep came out with it. I did not have my camera with me. So when I go back to correct that mess, which that brood that I pulled out, I gave that to More Alive to hopefully make a queen for them. Making solstice queens at the moment. You go, DC. Thank you, Chris. I'm wearing Kodiak Firm Leech shirt. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the hive. I think this was one of my first bee shirts that I ever got. Hey, that's great, DC. I love it when a plan comes together. We're getting, let's see, I've got out of those 5 frames I pulled, I think it was about 20 pounds. Because they were kind of thin. I had them in that 5 frame nuke, so I didn't do 4 instead of 5. Hey, cool gamer, good to see you this afternoon. If I can get your thing up there. Using the wrong mouse. And DC saying hi to everybody. So since it's so hot out and we're inside at the moment, let's take a second to get a drink of water or tea or coffee. You know, I had to quit drinking coffee about 1 o'clock because if I drink it any later, I'm up all night. Well, it's okay to make plans. Just don't plan the outcome. So once you start planning the outcome, then that's when you trip over yourself. So ride the bee, let them do what they're going to do. Just kind of follow through. You go in where it's cool, Tom. Get hydrated and regulated, the temperature regulated. I'm glad we could do this the last Tuesday in June. It seems like it turned around. It was March. We were talking about spring bees. Now we're full on summer bees. And it's busy, busy, busy. And hot. We're going to sweat being out there in the bee suits. I'm glad I got one of those vented ones. DC said, as Queen Cell Factory ended up queen right on me. I let her keep the box since her pattern looks so good. Now see, sometimes a plan you didn't know comes together. I didn't know that would happen, but hey, that's awesome. I still have my shaker box ready. I know I can pull off raising a couple queens. There's a couple colonies I have my eye, the one, but they already swarmed away. That was a nice tiger stripe queen. I'll have to see if her daughters are tiger stripe too. A new jacket, a foxhound jacket. Be sure to show that off, DC. I'll look for that video. And Collector Rick said, my Queen of the Wild Bunch is a powerhouse. Should I try to split her off again while it's early? I mean, I stopped here in Indiana. I stopped doing splits mid-August because the drones are dying off and everything's kind of backing off, the crops and stuff. Hey, happy belated birthday, Tom. Hang on, I'm trying to catch up with the chat, see if I missed anybody coming in. If you're in the bushes, hey, have a good afternoon. If you're on the replay, thanks so much for watching. Make sure and sting that like. And if you've enjoyed your time here, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. It's free to subscribe. And if you click the bell, you'll get all those little notifications whenever I drop a video. There, DC says, if you think it's early enough in your area, Richard, you can always stack boxes and recombine if it fails. You don't know if you don't try. That's a lot of splits there, Tom. Hang on. You can pull brood from the other to boost the new hive. See, that's what I just did with More Alive. So I went in and checked on them. They were the ones that swarmed way up into the tree, and we cut the branch down, and then we put that swarm into the frameless hive, and they decided they didn't like the frameless hive, and they left. So the frameless hive is still empty, and More Alive is queenless because either the queen didn't come back from her mating flight, or they didn't like her, because there was no, they had queen cups all over the place, and no queen, no eggs, just a little leftover growing brood. Yeah, let me catch up again. Yeah, you gotta get in there and look for those cells. Yeah, you're farther north than I am, DC. I forgot my gardening zone, 6B or something like that. Hey, Frugal Mama, good to see you. I was in the bushes in your chat this morning, stretching along with you. And then I was cleaning up in the honey house. Hey, Jack and Danae is here in the building. Good to see you guys this afternoon. I hope you're staying cool in Wyoming. I know it is hot. It's always hot in Texas, though. But this week seems to be hotter in all of our areas. So be sure, drink your water. Slow down. You don't have to rush in the heat. I find it gives you a headache. We don't want a headache. Yes, having multiple hives to pull from makes a world of difference. It is having, and I think back to, if I could change things when I started, I would go with having 2 or 3 around. Yeah, you're on the lake there. Happy Tuesday. Frugal Mama says hi to everyone. DC is in Washington, so he's northern Washington. We hang on. Be careful on those cloudy days, DC. My bees tend to get grumpy. I had those well, I guess I left it out in the honey house. I still don't have that out of my system. I have ridden 2 horses in my life. I don't know how. I mean, I could. I forgot a lot. Yeah, on a cloudy day, you just want to put your gloves on. I just got to put my ring finger back on. I was testing out some gloves I sent Tim and Hannah and got stung through the glove in my ring finger. I took the ring off while I had the glove on because I could feel it swelling. It was one of those potent venom stings. Now, DC knows how. He grew up with horses. I have a friend with horses, but I don't go over there to ride with her, so I'll just admire them from a distance. Oh, and under the fingernail stings, that's just like insult. Yeah, they hurt. They hurt. I don't know where they don't hurt is the thing. It's the ankle stings and the foot stings. Those hurt worse than but the finger sting, when your fingers are swollen up and it's hard to, your dexterity goes. So I try to avoid it, but you know, bees build their home for permanence. They don't expect things to be moved around. When they build it, they expect it to stay where it is. And then we come in and move things around, and of course they're going to defend what they built and sting. Yeah. Now see, I have not gotten a face sting. I've been stung in the neck and on the scalp, and I remember exactly where. But those I've not been stung. I hear it brings instant tears. I know it's going to happen someday, but so far, 6 years into this beekeeping adventure, I've not been stung in the face area. So that's a win to me. Yep. Yep. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a very sensitive, your face is so sensitive. Yeah, I got stung in my back through the suit, but the stinger was still in my skin. I couldn't figure out why it was still hurting. It's because I got the whole venom pouch full of the stinger. So they can't, if the suit material is right next to your skin, they can get through it and get you. Oh my goodness. I guess it doesn't matter what size you are. When they sting, you pay attention because it does hurt. And that's why I wear the suit and the gloves and the boots. I have done, and the thing, I don't like to get the propolis on my fingers. It's so sticky, and then it gets on everything else. I've already got a lot to clean up everywhere. But wearing gloves helps. But I have been trying to go gloveless more, just so that I can get the feel of, and really when you go slow, they just let them crawl on you. You'll be okay. They won't sting if you don't make the sudden movements or drop them. Don't drop them. Because then they really don't like it. It does help the stiffness. It's like, I don't mind when I get stung because afterwards I do feel great, but the sting itself hurts. Now see, I get the nitrile gloves. I've got the good leather, for the honey getting, when you got to take the boxes off and I've tried all different kinds. The dishwashing gloves, those work well. Been there, done that, DC. I remember the second year I pulled honey, I had this, I pulled out perfect fat frame and proceeded to drop it right on my boot. The perfect honey was ruined, but I did save the honey. I'm glad we can all commiserate. That's one thing you don't know until it happens. Because watching somebody get stung, you can't feel it. It doesn't seem like it. They say it hurts, but until you experience it, you just don't know. And that Yellow Jackets venom is different than the honeybee, is different than the wasp, than the hornet, than the bumblebee. Yeah, there are a lot of beekeepers that don't get stung. Rick says he carries a box of gloves and only stung twice through the gloves. Well, in that barrier that the glove provides, you can get that stinger out quicker and not get as much venom. Yep, most of my stings are my fault. And sometimes it's hard to not roll the frames. You try to get them, but you know, that bee space is so close. You try to separate and get that first frame out to give you some more space. And that's usually when I get a sting in the hand, because I squish somebody or roll somebody. And I really do try to prevent doing that. While we still have a little bit of time, I'm trying to think. There's so much stuff coming up. We've got the apiary visitors, which if you would like, make an appointment. Visiting my apiary is by appointment only. We're going to be doing that next week. So next Tuesday, I won't do a live stream. The nose, we're just standing there. Yeah, my youngest daughter, that happened to her. And we were outside, not even around the beehives. It was just a random accident, but she got stung in the bridge of her nose. Now see, that the lay-ins, that is a deeper frame. So I think I would be nervous with the deeper frame, because the medium frame that I had that was connected to the deep frame, when I pulled all of that out, it made me think of the lay-ins layout and how I prefer the Langstroth style. I have not tried the lay-ins yet. So as we wrap up June in beekeeping, we're coming to the end of the beekeeping year is August. So a lot of beekeepers are going to start talking about preparing for winter. After we pull honey, of course. I still have to go back into the TARDIS to see how they were refilling the frames I left for them. And let's see. Remember to always check your honey gate. Double check it, triple check it, so we don't spill honey. I'm not going to spill honey no more. That last spill was enough. I think I learned my lesson. See, I've been thinking about winter prep and what I can start doing now. There are a couple boxes out there that look like they've had one too many seasons. Yes, and that is something that I'm still learning, DC. I'm still learning. There's so much, it feels like there's so much to know. One thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. My goodness, that's about what I had. We had the 10 colonies that didn't make it. Collector Rick says a bee would not forget. In a couple days they'll forget all about it. Hello at Robert Gant. Good to see you this afternoon. Thanks for coming in and joining us. Yes, 107 heat index. SJG is my hubby, everybody. Robert's saying hi to everybody. DC says, I'm prepping to use the back end and the remainder of my season to draw a comb, setting up for next year. Be sure and wax your foundations well. I still have to figure out a guy. I'm not waxing them enough or something because I've got this. They want to build off like a, they don't want to build it out. They want to build off of it. So I will be waxing my foundations better. Now that I've got my own little space to do it in. Yes, they can recognize your face. Honeybees, wasps, bumblebees, they can all recognize your face. Now, I've heard, and it's different beekeepers do different things, but I've heard you can't wax them too much because they'll just use that extra wax to build more. So you don't want to dip it in the cells. You just want it on the ridges of the cells. And that's the tricky part because if you fill the cell, you won't get as much honey. They smell our intentions, DC. I know when I've got honey on my mind walking out there, I usually get a sting. When I got a sting. Waxing is when we take beeswax to put on the foundation of a frame, and I do not have a frame in this room to show you. Maybe in 2 weeks when I come back to the live stream, I'll be from the honey house and I can show you. But within the frame, say frame, there's foundation in the frame that we put in the beehive, and we put wax on that foundation so that the bees will draw off of the and build from it instead of over it. I hope that explanation helped. Hang on. Hang on a second. I'm glad to know that you're interested in beekeeping these days, Robert. It is. I have a hard time putting into words, but it makes me walk on sunshine. Yeah. It's the there went my word. Just like a balloon let off in the sky. It's there. It just went. Sorry. Derailed. It doesn't have to be expensive, but there are a lot of things in beekeeping that can be expensive. There are ways to be frugal about it. That's a good idea for a, hang on a second. Expensive beekeeping. Expenses of beekeeping. Write that down and we'll do another talk about that. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Thank you, Jesus, for the bees. I appreciate them so much. Because you can watch a video, you can read a book, but until you go to a beehive and open it up and smell it and see it and hear it, and taste the honey, I can't explain it. There's just this feeling of everything's right with the world when I come back from the apiary. Even if I'm all sweaty, which I usually am, and always monitor yourself for those signs of heat exhaustion. We definitely don't want to go into heat stroke while we're beekeeping. The bees can wait. And when it's hot like this, I'm hands off when it's hot like this anyway, because the comb is so fragile anyway. In this heat, it's even more so fragile. Yes, all the gadgets, all the shiny things. And there's a lot of things that you buy that you find you end up not using. And we make, I'm sure Stephen makes a lot of my boxes. And I try to watch for sales if I get a coupon or something. And that's a decision that you have to make. You can shadow a beekeeper. If you are in the Indiana area, send me an email. We can work something out. I can get you in front of a beehive. That's not a problem. So if you want to, because I kind of learned on the fly. The YouTube beekeepers have been my mentors, and I have been learning as I've progressed, and it's not a bad way to learn. And the heat does affect the bees, but they can handle it. They'll beard outside of their box. You'll watch for a lot of bee bearding pictures and videos coming from the beekeeping community. They do a lot this time of year. If the ventilation isn't correct, if it's, Well, if it's too hot, they're going to do it anyway. And yes, definitely hit up the bee clubs when you can. And don't hurt the harvest is learning on the fly too. And she's been to my apiary. Now that horizontal hive that was here is now in one of my out yards. And the the area that you're in, we're still going to be doing the same thing, just not the same time as the beekeepers in the south. Yeah, I'm glad you came in this afternoon. Yeah, it's definitely, it found me. I wasn't looking to keep bees. But then we had things happen in the family, and I lost my sister and my mother 2018. And in grieving, looking for something to do, we found dandelion jelly. We made dandelion jelly and it tasted like honey. And I joked to Stephen, well, maybe it might be easier to just get honey from the bees. Well, I found out it's not easier, but it's definitely worth it and more fun. I mean, picking dandelions was fun, but you have to get just the yellow petals off of every dandelion, and you need so many cups of petals to make the tea. Yep, Rick says jump in head first. You can learn when you have a question and type it in the YouTube. You never know who's already had that experience that they can share, and it's a good thing when you can find the information. I agree, DC. Fred Dunn's channel, he goes through some of those beekeeping gadgets you were talking about that cost the extra money we don't have right now. No, it's not easy. You ask great questions, Chris. Thank you for asking all of your questions. DC said, yes, they do make it look a lot easier than what because it's unpredictable. I've been in a colony a couple times without incident, and then I'll go back a third time and they'll be spicy as, so they are definitely unpredictable. Bob Binney is another good channel to look for information. You have to remember some of these, Bob Binney's a commercial beekeeper. Commercial beekeepers are different from backyard beekeepers. I am a backyard beekeeper with 25 hives. I may have 26. I'm not sure. I got to do the count again. But I'm a backyard small batch beekeeper. I hope that the ants will go away with this heat. But yes, they will definitely. That's why I have multiple thinking spots set up around the yard. Hang on, I already did that one. Yes. Well, and I think Bob Binney is he in Tennessee? I know he's originally started his beekeeping in Oregon. So that is a big climate difference. North Carolina. Okay. There are so many beekeepers in so many places. I love to see it. We're still at a dozen. Wow, you guys are the best for hanging out with me this afternoon. It's humid today. Today is humid. This morning, it started out 77 degrees at about 6 a.m. I was actually up early this morning. I caught Frugal Mama's workout. Thank you, Chris. Gunline Bees is an excellent channel to hang on to learn and pick up. Learn the lingo. Learn the lingo. Look up the beekeeping terms. A good book to get, The Beekeeper's Bible. This has a lot of good information in it. There's history, plants, desserts, all the different types of honey. And then the ABC and XYZ of bee culture. I have an older volume. There are newer volumes with newer information in them. This is a treasure trove. Yeah, Beekeeping for Dummies. I got that one too. And I have a Beekeeper's Handbook. This has some good information. Go to the library, start checking out books. Read as much as you can. But also remember, the bees don't read the books. And sometimes what you read in the book isn't what they've done in the hive. And when you've got to be fluid. That would be a good poster to keep around, DC. I have one going into my garage for the different pollen colors, and these are all the different types of bees. The bee that I want to study the most is the honeybee. People keep asking me about different bees. But there are a lot of bees that do a lot of good things, and they won't bother you if you leave them alone. They're lacking in detail, and well, the colors can be off. The recreating nature's colors is difficult. Hey, Tampa's Creek Homestead and More. Good to see you this afternoon. Yeah, we printed out some. That would be something to have, DC. Compile all the different pollens from the different regions. I am doing great, thank you. I hope you're staying cool. I'm almost done with my water. I was just saying, I have visitors coming to the apiary next week, so I won't be live next Tuesday. I may do a pop-up Wednesday, we'll see how that goes before the 4th of July festivities and all. But we got to get together and have you come out and see the honey house. I'm so excited. Oh, that's the fair. It is hot. Yeah, if you come down and go to that, definitely call me so we can get together and talk about these bees. Yes, hang on. I have already extracted 2 harvests. One was 6 frames and one was 5 frames. And I got the bees cleaned up the cappings from that mess this morning. Now I got to go pick the bees that didn't make it out of the, because when they feed on the comb, they sometimes fight about it, and some of them don't make it. So I'm going to use my chopsticks and get the bees out of the wax. Yes, you're all the way over there in Washington State. That's like 2 days drive. Pam saying hey to everybody. I can't wait for you to see it. I know I can fit 4 people in there because me and Steven and the 2 grandsons were in there already. But today it's too hot. 95, 107 heat index. I want you to come see it too. Don't Hurt the Harvest. And Miss T with the T. You guys, we got to come pick a day. Behind the scenes, we got to get on the phone. Think about a day you guys can come down for. We can, when it cools off. Yeah. Tampa said I'm waiting for winter to come back. Not winter, just milder summer temperatures. We don't need to go all 100 degrees. I know down south, you guys, I don't know how y'all do it every year with the heat and the humidity. And that's why a lot of southern beekeepers don't wear their jackets. Now, see, our humidity goes up. It's been like, the air's been like soup. And I seem to just wilt in the humidity. The solar storms are heating up the atmosphere more. And tell the sun to knock it off. Right? Don't hurt the harvest, knock it off. I know it. But that's when you put that bee suit on, it gets a little bit toasty. Yes. And I try to keep an ice pack in one of my pockets so I can put on the back of my neck, because I had a neck wrap that I can put in the freezer, but as it warmed up and it wasn't cold anymore, it was like a scarf, and it seemed like it made me hotter. So I'll just keep an ice pack in one of my pockets and put it on the back of my neck. Keep the water. You can drink it through the veil. Yes, I need to get more sweatbands because It seems like in this heat, once you start sweating, it's hard to not sweat unless you can get cooled off, which is why I'm sitting in the air conditioning. I had my fill this morning. I was cleaning off the uncapper and the extractor, and I mean, just I had to take a shower already. The rest of this evening, I don't know. You're very welcome. Do itashimashita. DC says, I don't wear a t-shirt under my vented jacket. It helps. We were looking at some of those. They're like a fan on either thing. I think we saw them at Ollie's. We'll have to go back to Ollie's and look. But yeah, I definitely pace myself, move slowly. I try not to, but I get so excited about these bees. And then I got to go check another one. And then I got to go check another one. So guys, wait, they can wait. I've got to not sweat all over everything. I've noticed they don't like it when you drip on them. In my experience, anyway. And I have a I wonder how those would do, because I usually under my suit I wear my shorts and a tank top, and that does help, or my sundress, because I can wear my dress under my suit. But the trying to do it in early in the morning, it's hard to see because the sun isn't really up yet, or later in the evening because the sun is going down, and it's harder to get the sun to shine in the frames to see what you're looking for. That's how they know you're coming, DC. Just sweat all over them. But yeah, when I come back, when did I say that was? I'll go ahead and schedule it. July 8th, I'll be back. And we'll talk more about the expenses of beekeeping. And as always, if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about, email me with the subject of what you want to talk about, and I'll get back to you. I can't. Well, and it's weird because they like salt water. It's the drippy white bear. He pulled the roof off again. They'll land on your arm when you're sweaty. They'll land on, lick your sweat off because they like salt. So yeah, if they land on you, they might just try to get a drink of salt water. Oh yes, and I have 2 nukes left that I can sell. I've sold one. That'll be going to its new home next week, I think. Let me check. Yes, next week. So as we come to the end of our time here together, I want to remind you to be kind to yourself if you make a mistake. You rearrange their stuff and then ask them what's their problem. No wonder we get stung. But be kind to yourself. One of these times, my brain's not going to derail in front of this lens. It's really not. Oh, she's coming to pick her nuke up, but I have thought about, I do deliver to my VIP customers. Yeah. Well, at least you don't wonder why you get stung. Acceptance is the answer to our beekeeping problems today. Just accept that it's going to happen. Brace yourself for it. 3 days later, it'll all be over. But with that, I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. You are so dear to my heart. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you in a fortnight. Bye. Hang on, I gotta hit